Welcome to Added Time on Powered 4 TV. I am the Mad Dog, Mike Angus, your host for the evening. And tonight I'm going to be joined by some great guests as we discuss all the Premier League action from the weekend, including Everton's big win at Anfield and also West Ham with a big win away at Tottenham. Welcome to episode 3 of Added Time. Unfortunately, we couldn't be joined by John and Sonny this week. Big shout out to those guys. But I do have some awesome guests with me. First of all, from the North Wales coast, the host of Stu's Wrestling Podcast. This is Stewie Palmer.
Cheers for that introduction, Michael. Love it. Bit of fervour and power behind it.
I'm all good. Everton fan in the house, Stewie Palmer.
Absolutely.
You must be buzzing, Stu.
I'm happy, Mike. I won't take the gloss off it too much when we speak about it after.
And we are joined on phone by another great guest, ladies and gentlemen. He is former Britannia Wrestling Promotions owner and 15-year veteran professional wrestler and Leicester City fan. This is Sam Smitten Downs, the babyface Pitbull.
Afternoon, or good evening even. Good evening. It's been a long day. Seems like it's still the afternoon.
How are you, Sam? Good to hear from you.
Yeah, not too bad. I'm nursing a bit of a hangover and looking after a baby. So yes. I'd love to say that's the reason. I'd love to say that's the reason you can't see my charming face, but I'm just a technical.
Go on, Sam.
As long as we can hear your opinions, that's what we want to hear, mate. So
I'm not a quiet bloke, as you know, so don't worry, I'll pipe up.
Excellent. Oh, well, we're going to run through all the Premier League fixtures from the weekend. We had some great matches, some cracking results to mull over. Do we get to see the results on screen, Rich? Have we got them? So, yeah, we'll start straight away with Friday. Obviously, Wolves versus Leeds United. And, I had it down that Leeds would go to Wolves and possibly get a result, but it didn't happen for them. Stu, what did you think of that game, and what were your opinions?
Massive result for Wolves. That they have been struggling to pick points up, and you can see, as I said previously, you can see what Nuno's trying to do with that team. It's one of the youngest teams, player for player in the league. So you can see what they're trying to do. Yeah, they have missed Jimenez, but I think the likes of your Martinho's, Neto, Neves, players of that ilk, they've been in the league for a couple of seasons, 2 or 3 seasons now. So they have got that experience edge as well. So Leeds, just to go to Leeds, I just think you do not know what Leeds is going to turn up from week to week, do you?
Yeah, well, I read in the newspaper today, they said they thought Leeds were pretty unlucky in that one. And, the luck had just not gone their way. But obviously, Sam, did you get to catch that game at all?
I watched some of it. Yeah, it's. We all know with Leeds, they can you can beat them 4-0 or they'll beat you 4-0. I watched most of it. I think Wolves are an interesting one. They've obviously sold a few, and obviously Jimenez's head injury is going to keep him out for a chunk of time, and he's a massive influence really in terms of holding the ball up and the way they play. I think it's going to be interesting with them. The young boy up top, Silva. Any guys out there or girls, obviously, that are football manager heads would have known about young Silva quite a few years ago. So he's quite an exciting one to come through. He's not quite hit it off yet, but I think he's going to be an exciting player, and they spent a lot of money on him. But Wolves aside, they've obviously fallen away this year a bit compared to previous years when they were pushing for Europe. But that's the Premiership, isn't it? The Premier League, it's so tough. 5% drop off in form can often mean a 25% or more reduction in points. But yeah, interesting one that. And I think Leeds, they're entertaining, aren't they? But they must drive you mad as a fan because, I say, you never know whether they're going to get smashed or smash someone else.
He doesn't seem to have tactically. They just play one way, and I know Bielsa's highly regarded by the likes of Pep, but I think sometimes they just need to change the way they're playing. But he sticks to what he knows. I think. I know it's the first season in the Prem, and they're getting.
I think it's one of those with Bielsa. Yeah, he's. I first came across Bielsa. I think it was it 98 or possibly 2002 when he was managing Argentina, and they had their team was so strong. I mean, they had about 10 forwards that could grace any international team. I think Batistuta was coming towards the end of his career, but they had Crespo and I think it was Gonzalez that played for, or Lopez that played for Valencia and all this lot. And Bielsa, listen, he's obviously a very experienced manager. He knows what he knows, and he's not going to change. And okay, the results are all over the place, but where are they now in the league? They're obviously solid mid-table. They're not going down. Any team that comes up and finishes mid-table, and really, I think before Christmas they were almost safe practically. You've got to say he's doing a good job, but he does get criticism. I heard Paul Merson's slacking him off. Basically, I think it was on the Sky Sports, the sort of Saturday afternoon program when they all sit there and have a good chat, and he was saying it must drive people mad, but they're mid-table and they've just come up. You've got to be happy with that. You've got to be happy with that.
Also, with Bielsa as well, he doesn't tend to stay at clubs long, but he's been there now.
Yeah.
He's onto his third year now, isn't he? If I'm not mistaken. So
yeah, that was it. That's what Merson was saying. Actually, he was saying he says he can see why Bielsa doesn't stay. Because he goes does a good job, but he must drive people mad and going, right, we're quite good now. Can we just learn how to maybe churn out a 1-0 win every now and again? You go, no. I know. But how can you question him? He's so experienced. You can't really question him, can you?
I can see him
give him a shit if you do anyway.
I can see him staying long term now. He's getting to an age. He's in his 60s, isn't he? He's probably looking at it. This is my last, big job, and he's finally in the Premier League. So I can't. I think he won't go against what he normally does. He'll stay put, won't he, Sam?
You don't know. I mean, it's one of those. He's obviously, you can tell by his career history that he does move around. I have to say, though, I mean, I like him. I think he's brilliant. I think that thing he did was it last year or the year before when he had all the spies over at Lampard's derby. And they kind of sat there and had gone, well, what do you reckon to this? You're being accused of this. And he just went, yeah, I did. Yeah, there's no rules against it. And we were like, was that fair enough? I think he had basically had spies there, just sat there watching Lampard's derby, all the tactics. And then, yeah, this is what they do. Lampard's saying that they're going to play so-and-so on Saturday. And you go, fair play to him. I was like, and I say, as a long-term football manager, Ed, I've seen loads of pictures. He has football manager up there on his thing, telling the players how to do tactics. So I think he's a character. He's obviously very experienced and knows what he's doing. And I think, as football's gone more globalist and corporate, and the desire is to everyone sort of mind the P's and Q's, and you've got to say everything correctly, and you've got to say blah, blah, blah. And, it's almost like they've got, a PR manager there answering for them and doing all these things different. I like Bielsa because he walks around in his scruffs all day long. It looks like he's got a 10-year-old tracksuit. He's got a 10-year-old tracksuit on. It looks like he has a haircut once a year and a shower every 2 years. But he's good at what he does, and he's a character. And people like these, unless it's your rival club, people like characters because it's something different. So I know it can be annoying, I imagine, but I don't know. But while he's here, he's very good at what he does, and it's one of them, and he's just a funny bloke. And we need these characters in sport because they're not as frequent anymore.
I bet his interpreter's on a few quid, isn't he?
I think most people in football are on a few quid, and it's interesting, though, isn't it? Can't be bothered learning English. Don't blame him, to be honest. He's 65.
Yeah.
Learning English, 65. Can't be arsed with that. I'll just pay an interpreter. And some of the questions when he answers these questions. He kind of obviously talks Spanish and says a smirk, and you're kind of thinking, oh, what little nuggets did you come up with here? And his interpreters kind of translates it in sort of like corporate PR terms what he said. So, he's just can't be bothered learning English. I say I don't blame him. If I was 65 and going to manage a team in Spain, I probably or whatever. Well, I can speak a bit of Spanish to be honest, but yeah, can't be bothered. Doesn't need to. It's obviously not affecting the players. He's not affecting the players. In fairness, it's obviously the message is getting through, and he's bringing the best out of players like Bamford, who I probably haven't.
He was unlucky with the offside on his VAR goal, guys, disallowed this weekend, and as well, it was it was a good result for Wolves. But we better move on to Saturday's fixtures, guys. Anyway, Southampton versus Chelsea. Minamino with another goal for Southampton after leaving Liverpool, and then Danny Ings gave away a penalty towards the end there, which allowed Chelsea. Mason Mount levelled it up. Did you guys get to watch that match at all? What did you think of Southampton this week?
I had Talk Sport on while I was stripping wallpaper. Clive Tilsley was covering it, so it's I like Clive Tilsley. It's funny having him on the radio after years of having him on the BBC, then ITV. So yeah, good old Clive. It was on there with Alvin Martin, but yeah, I think Southampton grew into the game in the first half. From what I could hear, I hadn't seen it, but it's just I'm not fussed. I don't think this Tuchel's going to be right for him. I'm going to stand by.
You're not a fan of him, are you?
I'm going to stand by this. I know they haven't lost yet. I think he's had 2 draws, 5 wins, or 4 wins. I am not sold on him for a second. You've managed PSG. Anybody could go and manage PSG, couldn't they? And get the league title and some cups and stuff. And if you can't get the Champions League, you're out on your ear, aren't you, at PSG? But yeah, good. I thought it was a good point for Southampton, considering Chelsea haven't lost.
They haven't had much luck recently, Southampton, have they? And to get that draw against Chelsea, we had a feeling it might happen. But Sam, what did you think of that one?
I saw bits of it again. I didn't watch the whole game. I think from a personal, selfish point of view, I was glad Southampton took some points off Chelsea. Obviously, putting my Leicester City cap on. In terms of Tuchel, I think obviously Stu's made his feelings very clear.
He always does.
Yeah, not sitting on the fence with that one. It's interesting, isn't it? And I think Chelsea, as a club, they have a clear culture in terms of the managers. If you don't get the results, you're out. Simple as that. And even the darlings of the club, like Lampard, it was like, yeah, sorry, I know you're basically part of the family, but you're fired. Was he at Dortmund before PSG? Was it, or was it not Salzburg?
Yeah, he was at Dortmund before.
Dortmund, yeah.
Mainz before that.
Mainz, that was it. Mainz and then Dortmund. Yeah, no. I try and listen to TalkSport. I'm in the office on my own at the minute, and there's none of the girls that work there. So as soon as they're out, TalkSport goes on and Heart FM goes off. And they were talking a lot about Tuchel. They had quite a few German journalists on there, sort of discussing him and the sort of nature of his character and things like that. And apparently, he's very studious. Got a lot of attention to detail. Quite demanding. He obviously speaks very good English, and he seems like he's a very intelligent man. He'll know he's got to get results, and if he doesn't, he's gone. That's what they do.
Prem's a different beast.
It is, and it's brutal, because it's getting more and more open. The top 6 isn't the top 6 anymore; it's the big 6 commercially, but it's not the top 6 anymore. That's how cutthroat it is. So it'll be interesting to see how he gets on. Obviously, they've got 2 very expensive German players there in terms of Werner and Havertz, who haven't produced yet. I was looking forward to seeing Havertz and Werner, and they've not done it yet. I say from a club rivalry perspective, good. I hope they're rubbish. But obviously, from a footballing purist point of view, you get the big signings come in. You want to see what they're all about. Havertz's reputation is extremely, certainly was extremely high in terms of being a top young player. Werner's fast. It's difficult coming from Church. It's difficult. I mean, we've seen that with Kabak as a centre back coming in. It can be a bit of a graveyard, the Premiership. Players can excel, but they really can get shown up. So it'll be interesting with Tuchel, but I don't know. I disagree with you, Stu. I think he might do a good job. Unfortunately,
that's what it's all about.
I hope he's rubbish. Don't get me wrong, because I say from your point of view as an Everton fan and me as a Leicester fan, we've got to hope the big six trip themselves up so we can elbow our way back in. So
another Leicester fan there in the comments as well, Sam. Steve,
that?
big shout out there saying Tuchel is going to rub players up the wrong way. Look what he did to Hudson-Odoi. So,
I saw that, yeah. No, didn't he take it? I saw that because I was out doing bits and bobs, but didn't he take him off after half an hour and then basically say he didn't do what he was told?
That's it. That's what I heard. And
brutal.
That's just going to wind. That's going to wind him up. But anyway, we better move on, guys.
Sorry,
We'll get on, not a problem at all. But we'll get on to Burnley and West Brom. Now, Burnley had a lack of attacking power ahead from that match. I didn't get to watch that one, unfortunately. But I know Sean Dyche came out in the media and said the fatigue has caught up with them. Stewie, I know you watched that one. You were talking about it earlier. What did you think of that one?
West Brom with 10 men. Ajayi goes off after half an hour, right? You're thinking to yourself, aren't you? Right, they've got a man, they've got an extra man now. Burnley will kick on. I was thinking Burnley will kick on in the second half and get the win. West Brom went for it. To be fair to Allardyce, I criticised Allardyce a lot of the time, but it was crazy. And that chance towards the end, they had the one off the bar, which they thought Lowton had headed it. They had that chance. He should have buried it. And then it was like ping pong towards the end. How it didn't go in, I don't know. Matthias Pereira should have took the shot. He's played it back. He's like sort of like mishit the ball. They should have won. West Brom will be kicking themselves there because they could have had 3 points and they just couldn't get the ball in the back of the net. But as I say, it's getting tight down that bottom now because Fulham won again. Brighton, Burnley, and Newcastle need to watch what they're doing because Fulham have took 7 points from 3 games now and they've only conceded 1 goal. So I think your Burnleys are going to have to watch. They're going to have to pick. They need to be picking wins up, don't they?
Big game going on right now as well. There, Man United versus Newcastle. If Newcastle don't pick up points there, Fulham are going to be breathing down their necks. Sam, Dyche, another big managing character. What did you think of Burnley West Brom over the weekend?
I saw up until the sending off, which I think was about 25 minutes, half an hour. Not the most glamorous of Premiership fixtures. There probably won't be many fans from Burnley or West Brom, but I'm sure they'll understand. I like Allardyce and Dyche, to be honest. I think the cut and thrust of it, they're probably 2 of the best managers you'll find in the Premier League because they get given nothing. They get given a load of rejects. And I mean, look what Dyke's done at Burton. It's phenomenal what he's done, really, considering the resources. He only ever seems to have 12 players, and it's 12 players that no one else wanted. They don't seem to have much glamour. I mean, they've got the boy on the left. What's the young left winger called?
Dwight McNeil.
Yeah, he seems pretty talented. But Dyke makes the most of what he's got. I mean, with Chris Wood's ex-Leicester, and he was quite good, ironically. Chris Wood got binned off by us because Vardy came through, but Chris Wood's a decent player, but he seems to get the most out of it. Allardyce, we know what he can do. I think he can pretty much keep anyone up. He did it with Sunderland 3 or 4 years ago, and God knows how he did that because they were absolutely awful. He kept them up. I'm suspecting, though, from Allardyce's body language, and this is before the game, in fairness, he doesn't seem to have the same sort of buzz that he did before. And I almost look at him and think, he knows this is too much for them, and I don't think he'll keep them up. I've got nothing against West Brom, and if he does, fair enough, good luck to him. But just his body language, I suspect he thinks that he might be up against his biggest challenge yet. Pereira's obviously a very good player at West Brom. He seems to be clearly the most talent. But if he can get them keeping clean sheets and they win 1-0, 1-0, 1-0, textbook Allardyce, he might do. So who knows?
Cutting it a bit close now, I think, for him. But let's move on to the big game of the weekend for myself and Stu. Props to Everton. You beat us at Anfield, Stu. Early goal, a great pass by James Rodriguez through to Richarlison. He buries it bottom corner. Nothing to complain about from me there, apart from our defending. And then we put on the pressure. I thought we held possession pretty well, and got ourselves some chances. Nothing really cast iron chances compared to how we normally do. But Mane and Firmino both had chances. And then obviously, we were putting you guys under pressure, I thought. But you got the penalty near the end and finished us off 2-0 at Anfield, Stu. So you take it away, my friend. I'm just going to say to my Everton friends,
I don't want to.
Are you watching the same game here? Are you watching the same game here, Michael? What? Very optimistic.
I do not want to take the gloss
off.
Don't want to take the gloss off this. Come on now. First win since September 99. But what I will say is we've dropped points in games, and that's annoyed me even more because we're right up there with Leicester and United now. If we hadn't lost to Fulham, if we hadn't lost to Newcastle recently, but fantastic from the boys. I thought when Coleman's header got saved, I thought Liverpool are going to go and win this game now. I really did. You had all the ball. I thought we've missed a chance there. We're going to get battered, but brilliant at the back. Absolutely fantastic. Michael Keane, absolutely brilliant. Southgate, I'm sure, will be looking to him for England. I know he's had a few caps. Also, that man, Ben Godfrey, what a bit of business that was. I'll stand by that. And the lad's playing left back. He's centre back by trade. 20 million was a snip for him. And as I've said before, it's the pace. It's his pace that gets him out of situations. Pickford, I've lambasted Pickford for weeks, Mike. You know that. But I've got to be fair. You said about some of the chances. Henderson's shot as well before Henderson went off. It's the best he's played for a long, long time, Pickford. I was very impressed. We were very well organised. Just wish we hadn't dropped the points that we dropped in those games. But everyone's been dropping points except for City. So
that's it. Well, Max Green suggested that I need to be in charge of Liverpool. I think Klopp's, he's done such a good job for us for the last few years, and I just think it's the team have hit a really rocky spell. Last couple of matches there's been a few. I thought after the match against Leipzig in the week we looked a little bit better, so I was hoping going into this big derby that we would be performing a little bit better than that. But obviously there's just something missing in the league, and I think a big thing for us is the fans. I think at Anfield especially, that the fans are like a 12th man, and I think the sooner we can get fans back into Liverpool, the better for us. I'm not going to make excuses. We've got a lot of injuries. That's what my best mate messaged me. He's an Everton fan, and he said, you've got a lot of injuries. You'll be back later on in the season, next season, once everyone's back in. But it's just one of them. It's not good enough at Anfield, and Everton have won, and that is as simple as that. The last time they won there, Stu, there's been 6 Star Wars movies released since last time.
You told me this last night. I had that sinking feeling with that starting 11 last night. I know, obviously, Alan had been on the bench, but he hadn't brought him on. So it was like he's not going to start him on Saturday. I knew that. But I think when Calvert-Lewin came on and he caused havoc up top, but I think, if you have Van Dijk at the back, it would have been so much better organised and we wouldn't have had the chances we got, I don't think. But, Kabak at 20, he's come from Schalke. In the long term, hopefully he'll do all right for you. But it's just he's getting thrown in at the deep end now. And it's so hard. It's so hard for him. He needs a Virgil by him, doesn't he, by his side at the back. Ideally,
I thought our defence actually looked better after Henderson came off, although we missed Henderson attacking. There were a few moments early on in the game where Hendo was pushing forward, and I think Trent Alexander-Arnold dropped back into the back line, and I thought, we look a lot better here with Hendo pushing up and going as a midfielder. And somebody said, a fan of an opposing team put on Facebook, how overconfident are Liverpool thinking they can get away in the Premier League playing midfielders at the back. And when you put it that way, I suppose that he's probably right. We need to be playing defenders at the back. And we look better with defenders at the back.
He knew Virgil was out. Gomez is out a lot for you. There's no Matip. Why didn't he bust the gut? Is there not enough money in the pot to go and get somebody? In that January window, you're going to need another centre-back. Why didn't he just go big?
He's bought 2, hasn't he? And hasn't even played one of them yet.
He needed someone established. I know good centre backs are few and far between in the modern game, but he should. The board should have said, "Look, here, Jurgen, here's X amount. You've got the pull because you've won stuff. You know what I mean? Players will want to come and play for you. That's a given." Then I think just it's hard when you've gone for a lad from Preston. Do you know what I mean? What's he gonna do for you at the back? He might be brilliant, that Ben Davis. No disrespect to him, but I think they should have busted a gut and spent a bit more money, Mike, to get someone in.
Yeah, and what did Sam think of that one?
Well,
overjoyed.
No, well, as you'll know, Mike, I'm sat here in West Derby in Liverpool as a hometown Leicesteronian, but I've got lots of friends on both sides, red and blue, from pragmatic realists on both sides, red and blue, to the textbook stereotypical bitterest of blues and delusional red. So I was rejoicing in it all, really. To be honest, I was just sat there. Well, I wasn't with anyone because that would be illegal. But I was speaking to people on both sides when it was going on, and I was just sat there, just enjoying it, really, seeing all you have a go at each other. But obviously, I was not too dissimilar, I suppose, to last week. It was just at the back, really, isn't it? And Kabak's, again, at the minute, he's not good enough. He might be good enough, but if you're thrusting him in there, it's bloody difficult to go, right, you've got to go and replace Virgil van Dijk. You go, he's the best centre-back in the world. But I think we've had injuries. I think in terms of Liverpool's injuries, the thing you've had with injuries, it all seems to be in the same position, centre-back, which obviously isn't good. And you can say in that reference, it's unlucky. But like you say, should they have thought ahead and bought someone in the summer? Because as far as I can see, it's Van Dijk, Matip, Gomez, that's 3. And then Fabinho goes back. So you've got 3 there and almost a utility style player whose best position is anchoring, not at the back. Now you need 4. I mean, everyone knows that. You need 2 teams, don't you, these days? Well, certainly if you're going to play European football, cup football and win things, which is the expectation, Liverpool of arguably the best team in the world, maybe alongside City and things like that, and possibly Bayern. So it's yeah. But again, from a selfish Leicester City fan point of view, the more points get dropped by all you lot, then fine by me.
Can I just say, my cousin has commented before, Tom Davis again. I've slagged him off. I hold my hands up if I slag someone off. Mike's heard me many a time. Can I just say how well he's been playing in the middle? And Chris has typified that with his comment. He cannot be dropped in the form he is in at the moment. And I know we've got Alan coming back. We've got Decore in there. Tom Davis has got to be in that starting 11, 110%. Because he's getting
the last 3 games, he's been much better for you, Stu. It was since you slagged them off.
I know, 110% every week, and I'm glad for the lad that he's getting consistent matches now. He was in and out the team, which probably didn't help, but me and many other Evertonians were on his case. Do you know what I mean?
It's the manager, isn't it? I think often, because I think did he first come through under Koeman? Was it?
Yeah, Davis did, Sam. Yeah,
and Koeman, obviously, I think again, some of my close friends really don't like him. He didn't do a particularly great job. And I think some of his man management they questioned. And obviously he didn't get the best out of Davis. But Ancelotti, going back to the days when he was at Chelsea, I'm sure it was Lampard and the English dad said he's the best man manager they know. So he's obviously good at man managing these lads. And it might be the case with guys like Tom Davis, who's obviously always had potential.
Yeah, absolutely.
But seems to be sort of drifting backwards, as opposed to, say, someone that might challenge for an England spot. All of a sudden, he can't get in the Everton team. Obviously, I've not seen him to the level of every game you have, Stu, even though every game's on bloody telly these days because no one can go. But his form's improving. You've got to give Ancelotti credit for that.
Yeah.
You've got to give him credit. I think with you guys, though, commenting on Everton, I think Decore and Alan are important for you.
Absolutely.
Playing at least one of them. I was talking just with a friend of mine when we played you at Goodison, and I said we had Vardy out and you had Decore and Alan out, and I said basically what this means is we'll dominate midfield and have possession, but we won't be able to go any chances, and that was basically it.
You absolutely battered us with the ball in that game. How we came out of a draw? I don't know, because we
didn't have Vardy. We couldn't stop the chances.
I know, mate.
And you got the pace as well. So while we're dominating you. If you've got Richarlison on the pitch, that's a big dynamic for you because he's the one that can hit you with pace. Good game that, by the way. Obviously, it was a few weeks ago, but it was a good game that.
Yeah, tasty one that was. Yeah.
Good old T-Rex arms.
There's been certainly is. But just to let you know, there's been another goal in the Man United game, and we are going to be joined by Sonny in about 10 minutes' time. Who's going to let us know what's happened in the first half there? But it looks like St. Maximin has equalised there for Newcastle. Let's crack on with the rest of Saturday's fixtures. We've got Fulham picking up a big win they needed there against Sheffield United. Now, Sheffield United, we've said this a couple of times, I've got to say, I can't see that they're not going to stay up. They are going to get relegated now.
It was done. It was done months ago.
Yeah, Luckman with a good goal through the goalkeeper's legs in about 60 minutes in that one. Stu, did you get to catch that at all?
Yeah, absolutely. Do you know what? I really do hope. I think Scotty Parker has done a fantastic job. I really do. And I know I've harped on about it. Look how many draws they've had. 10 draws they've had this season. Another couple of them are wins. 2 or 3 of them, they're out of the relegation zone. It's just they seem to be kicking on. That's 7 points from 3 games now.
Their start was awful as well.
Yeah.
Awful start. I mean, I think everyone written them off. Carragher's going to have to eat his words because I think he said, didn't he? I've never been Fulham are going down. I've never been so certain of anything in my life. Well, there we go. Then don't take betting tips off Jamie Carragher. But you've got to give. You've got to. I don't bet anyway. I'm used to. So I'll admit I'll have my hands up. I might as well give Paddy Palmer money. But Parker's done a great
predictions at the end. Then Sam.
No, yeah. Don't listen to me. But Scotty Parker's done a great. I mean, he's turned them round. I mean, they beat us. I remember when I think we went on a Monday night, and I'm thinking, oh, we're on form here, 6-0 on the top of the league. Shafted us 2-0, and he's done a great job. They seem to be organised, they're creative. They've got a couple of players up top. Luckman always seems to stand out, and a couple of other guys whose names I forget. Well, good chat with a double barrel name like me. Decorah Reed, I think it is.
Yeah,
seem to be lively and creative, and they're not shipping in goals. So he's done a great job. And again, it'll be interesting to see if they can climb up there and drag a few teams in like Brighton, Palace, whoever, Burnley, whatever it may be, and rather than the bottom 3 being way away. But Sheffield United, shame, but I think they probably got found out. Last year they dealt some really good results playing this crazy system with overlapping centre backs and crazy stuff. And people were like, Christ, what is this? But I think now they've figured them out. They're struggling for goals. And yeah, it's a shame, really. I like Chris Wilder again because he's a proper old-fashioned British manager. He reminds me a bit of Mike Bassett, the film England manager. Proper old school. I bet some of his team talks at half-time are interesting and not for the faint-hearted, that's for sure. But they're going to go down, but they'll probably come back up. Because Chris Wilder's obviously, it doesn't look like there's any pressure to sack him. They'll go, right, okay, you exceeded expectation. So we're going down, fair enough, but let's help you rebuild. You know the club. You're obviously a good manager. Let's, like a lot of clubs have done over the years, gone back down, but come back stronger.
Exactly. And guys, let's move on to today's results. It would have been at this point that I would have gone to John Scott to get his opinions about Tottenham today. Obviously, I watched that one, and West Ham looked really good today. Antonio scored really early in that one, and then Lingard with another cracker, looking like he did back in his Man United days. There was some sort of controversy about that where they were saying was he offside or not, but the goal was given, and the only good thing about that was that they got to celebrate twice. And then in the second half, I thought Tottenham looked a lot better. They brought Gareth Bale on, and he really was a real icon today. We spoke about this briefly on Friday's pre-added time show with John, and we said how Tottenham were looking a lot better in the Champions League earlier on, in the Europa League even, earlier in the week. And I think I don't think did anyone predict this as their scoreline? I don't think they did.
I'm not sure. I can't remember. But I tell you what,
Sonny probably did.
Yeah, he's flying with his. But the thing is, right? Have you noticed? I'm a stats man as well. West Ham had 28% the ball, I think, or 30%. It was like us last night, Mike. Liverpool 71, 72%. The Southampton game as well. I know that was only a draw. But still, Southampton barely had 30% of the ball, and teams are picking points up. I know it's the way it's been the season a little bit, but I think you can counter attack with good effect. I still maintain that because look at the 3 games there. The other teams come out with points off the back of it. So,
Yeah, and we'll move straight on to the big one for Sam today. Obviously, Aston Villa versus Leicester. What did you think of Leicester's performance today, Sam?
Yeah, very good, very assured. I was quite confident going in. Reasons for that, I think. Well, we're above them in the league, so on paper, it's a simple bet. We're better away from home. I think we're second in the league away. We're very good away, and there's almost been a bit of a rivalry between our lads and Villa lads recently. We did the double on them in the league last year, but they knocked us out of the League Cup semi. and they were lucky. They shafted us, and I'm not. That's just it, because I'm not being nice about it at all. They were lucky. The ref was crap. All the excuse in the book. That's why they knocked us out last year, and they beat us at home right at the start of the season. So I had a feeling they'd grit in and get a result, and they did. I think we overwhelmed them in the first 20, 30 minutes. Creatively, really, I think they were a bit winded mentally by the fact that Grealish wasn't playing, and Cash.
I think that played a big part in it.
Confidence and mentality. Matty Cash, who's by all accounts been playing well at right back, they shoved. I can't remember who it was now. El Hamadri was it at right back, and Barnes is in top form. So Barnes just basically was skinning them and ripping them to bits. Bit of a stupid goal to concede, but yeah, solid win. And I think, as Rogers was saying today, we're going into this stage this season. Last season we tailed off. This year we're showing ourselves to be a lot more calm, and I think more mature and game savvy in terms of. He said it before: if you can't win a game, make sure you don't lose. And we're not afraid to go right. If we only need to draw it, let's take a draw. And equally, we're not afraid to go right. Let's kill this in the first half an hour. So I'm very, very. Overall, in the grand scheme of things, happy Leicester fan at the moment. And after today, it's nice to sit here with a hangover and something to cheer me up. As opposed to being absolutely miserable. I'm in lockdown, can't do anything. The team's getting beat at home. It's not a great time to be getting beat at home when you're in lockdown. It makes the weekend bloody crap. So yes, good day for us.
Yeah, and fellow Leicester fan Steve as well with a comment there. The next 4 games are big for Leicester. They've got United, City, Chelsea and Spurs between now and the end of the season after these next 4. So, you need to pick up some big results to be pushing for the top there. Sam, what do you think about them next couple of games?
Yeah, it's crucial now. I mean, this is the point where we go, right, we're either in the top 4 or not, and they get talking about it. It's getting the points.
Yeah.
I think we've got United in the Cup at home. They're better away, the same as us, so that could go either way. I think we drew with them at home 2-2 earlier. Chelsea, we must have away at some stage. Spurs, God knows the Spurs. Everyone was going, Mourinho's a genius. They're going to win the league. And now they're like, in 10th? So God knows with Spurs. And it literally is, do or die. It's the results. If we get the results, I think we're showing that we can get up there. Like last year, we lost it on the last day of the season. But, you know what I mean, don't you? The proof was in the pudding. We get the points or we don't. I am confident, a lot more confident than last year. Our squad's better. We can cope with losing players, probably apart from Vardy, but we still got points for Vardy. Vardy's the main one. It's probably the best time in our club's history to be a Leicester City fan, really. So, yeah.
Your defence, Sam, the amount when everyone's fit, you've got a good sec. Well, you'd call it a second string on paper, but you've got lads that can come in.
We've got the squad. Honestly, nail on the head, because I think, for example, last season it was Pereira at right back. He was the best right back in the league apart from Trent.
Yeah.
Okay, we lost Chilwell. Fair enough. Soyuncu was in the team of the season. Johnny Evans is our best defender.
He's been brilliant.
When they bought Maguire for 80 million, I said, you're stupid. Yeah. You should have got Johnny Evans off us. He's better than Maguire. Soyuncu got injured. Fofana's come in. Has been an absolute beast. He looks like he could be the new Marcel Desailly, for those of anyone that's old enough to remember him.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. And Castagna's come in. He's great. And the young lad, Luke Thomas, who's from Syston in Leicester, where my cousin's from, about 3 miles from my family home back in Leicester, has come in and looked very good. He's looked better than Chilwell did when he came into this team at the same age. So it's good to have local lads in there. But obviously Barnes is a local lad as well, and the depth is there. That's probably the difference, the depth. And Rogers even got Daniel Amati looking like a proper football player. So if you can make Daniel Amati look good, then Christ. Mendy was crap, and he's got him playing well. Fuchs obviously is getting on a bit and lost his pace, but he's a wily old character, and he'll be coaching these young lads behind. Wes Morgan isn't going to get much game time, but he knew that, and he's going to retire in the summer. But our squad's very good, and we can handle it now, see? And that's the difference, especially in defence and central midfield. We can handle injuries, and that's why And that's why, again, another reason why I'm confident we can stay in the top 4 this year.
Sam, they said in the TV that Tielemans is like a coach on the pitch. That was earlier today? They mentioned that.
Yeah, that's a Rodgers quote, I think. Rodgers was saying in the summer, I think he had his team leaders, and he said that at the time Chilwell and Tielemans were 2 of his younger leaders. Chilwell more for the young British lads, and Tielemans was like a leader for the sort of the young foreign players. And they were saying today he was playing Champions League football at age 16. And any football manager heads that are out there will know all about Tielemans when he was 16 at Anderlecht. And he's been a very good player since he was like, God knows how many years. But yeah, he's turning into a real leader, Tielemans, for us. He's actually got a judo background. He's quite strong with his. But you can spot it, because obviously I can grappling myself. You can spot it in his hips, where he uses his hips to balance a lot. Guys that are bigger than him, he uses his hips very well. So he's a bit tougher than you'd think, but a fantastic player, passer, very composed, and a genuine out and out like a deep lying playmaker. And he'll sit deeper, that allows Maddison and Barnes just to push on. So Tielemans is definitely emerging into a midfield leader, and he seems very happy. If we can stay in the Champions League, we'll keep hold of him. If we don't get in the Champions League, people will come along. Man United will probably come along and offer 500 million for him or something along those lines. But we need to keep him. He's a genuine leader on the pitch, a nice lad, and very experienced despite being only 23.
Excellent stuff. And then the last game that's just occurred was Arsenal Man City. Now, City scored very early on in that one, Raheem Sterling. And I actually thought, going into this, I thought Arsenal have looked a little bit better recently, and I thought they might cause City some problems. But in the end, City seemed to sort of cruise through with the victory there. And Arsenal put a bit more pressure on in the second half, but it wasn't enough really to do any lasting damage there. They couldn't get that goal they needed. Did either of you guys get to catch that game this afternoon?
I did, yeah.
What did you think, Stu?
I think it was never in doubt. They dominated as they have done. I was quite surprised they've only got the 1 goal tonight. They had a couple of chances. Sterling, I think, had another one. Do you know what I've been impressed with for City? He came in last year. Sometimes it takes time to bed in, especially in the Prem. Rodri, midweek against us, he bossed it in the middle. And he's got the most passes of any player in the league, completed passes. He's on nearly 2,000 completed passes. He has stepped up. You know what they say about the front attacking players, they get all the praise and all the plaudits. Rodri, what I've seen, I like those nitty-gritty type of players, like Sam's saying about Tielemans. I think
Sato from fantasy football, Stu. Do you remember?
I do.
Sato, you do. I don't know, with your pajamas on, coming up with all these stats about 2 million.
I do remember Sato. I do.
I'm showing my age here, but yeah.
What a show! What a show that was for Dylan's
I go back and watch it. Like you get it on YouTube before the World Cup and the Euros and all that. Go and watch it. Most of the jokes you couldn't get past telly on these days. My God, it's a bit close to the line, but it's bloody so good, so funny. It's just so funny. But yeah. Anyway, sorry, I interrupted you in full flow there, mate.
No, it's all right. It's okay.
Next stat, please.
I can't follow on. I can't follow on from that one, Sam. But yeah, I like the players that don't get the praise, but they do an awful lot. It's a bit like, it's when Alan's back for us. He was touted coming from Napoli. I just like that type of player, and it's good to see. He's one of the reasons they're doing well. Obviously, Diaz at the back has been a revelation. Can't believe he's only 23. He's come straight in, and they've wanted to try and get the replacement for Kompany for so long. And he's strengthened the team in the right areas, and they're up there on merit. That's 18 wins in a row, 13 in the league now. They're not that. I can't see it.
It's a bit depressing if you're a genuine title contender, but they're looking like they're unstoppable. They're great at the back. They don't even bother playing a centre forward half the time, just because Pep feels like taking the piss out of everyone and going, I'm not going to play a centre forward and we're still going to win.
He's still dismissive. He's still dismissive about 10 points. Do you hear him in the press conference? It's still not enough. We need to keep going. I was like, bloody hell, Pep.
True, they've got to finish it off, though, Stu.
Yeah.
At this point, guys, we're just going to take a little moment's break, and then we're going to be joined by Sonny, who's going to give us an update on the Manchester United-Newcastle matchup. Okay, so take a breather for a moment.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is Millie McKenzie! She is at least 5 sandwiches short of a picnic. Casey Owen! Casey Corker!
Okay, guys, at this time we are joined by Sonny G, the host of Games and Graps podcast. Sonny, what's going on at Man United Newcastle today? Have we had any send-ins off yet?
Not just yet, lads. No. How's it going? You good?
Yeah, good, son.
Yeah, good.
Good. Right, Newcastle have had 27% possession.
That's all you need.
Stu was talking about before.
That's all you need at the moment.
They've strung about 4 passes together, and it's 1-1.
Oh, God. So who scored? You scored first, did you, Sonny? It was who scored for you?
Yeah. Great bit of individual skill from Rashford, to be fair. He got the ball. The pace just took out the Newcastle defender. Cut inside and slashed it bottom corner. Keeper maybe could have done better, but he didn't. So that's that. So really good goal. And then, Newcastle, to be honest, they've been all right. They've not had a lot of possession, but what they've done is they've pressed us really hard. They've really pressed us. And, it's caused us a lot of problems. De Gea's trying his hardest to help them win the game, I think. He's passed the ball out to a couple of their players, and I don't know what they're doing as well. Is that they're playing like this ball from the right-hand side into the box because they know that our defenders have all got 50p heads. So
hey, Maguire, 80 million. Goodbye, that.
Oh, God. You've robbed us.
I know. It's great.
Tell you what, 500 million for Tielemans would be all right, though, to be fair.
You know what I mean. I think you've obviously got a lot of money, but the problem is everyone knows it, don't they? That's the issue.
Definitely, yeah.
It doesn't put you in a strong negotiation-wise. It doesn't put you in a strong position because we know you're absolutely loaded.
It's not like Everton where you've barely got a pot to piss in.
No,
that's what the public owner is. But realistically, they have got a lot of money. He's fuming, look at him. He's fuming.
No, I'm not fuming. We've got one of the best negotiators in the league, Marcel Brands. Now we don't overpay. We don't overpay for people. Whereas that fucking numbskull Steve Walsh was just like he didn't know who he was buying. He had that one little bit.
But he was good for Leicester, though. He was good, right when he was. He was at Leicester for them.
It was just one season where it all clicked, and then we were like, right, we'll have him. And he was a numbskull. He couldn't get the deals done. Sorry, Sonny. Sorry.
No, it's all right, mate. I see, with Steve Walsh, I thought he did a good job at Leicester.
Him and Koeman together didn't have a Scooby. And I look at Koeman now. He's got an aging Barcelona team, and it's showing that he hasn't got the capabilities. That's a nostalgia manager, that is. They're going back to the glory days of the 80s and 90s with him as a player.
Yeah. I think he did a good job for you, Stu.
The football was awful. It was terrible. We played better football than the Martinez. I would have kept Martinez at the time. He would have seen us. He would have seen us right. But there we go.
Right, Sonny, what's going to happen in the second half there? Sorry, how are you looking? Are you just about to kick off again for the second half, is it?
Yeah, I mean, we're a better second half team. We are, but at the minute, it's all too predictable, too pedestrian, and it very much sums up, United this season. Super hit and miss. Newcastle are doing the right things against us. They're pressing us really well, and it's making us really work. I mean,
is Cavani playing tonight?
No, he's injured.
Yeah, he makes a big difference to you, doesn't he? He makes a big difference. It's almost like you brought him in and people are going, oh, really? He's 34. But then all of a sudden, you've got a lot of young players who are fast and clearly talented. But Cavani's the one that goes, right, to balance it out, I'm going to stay here, basically hang off the edge of the box, and I'm just going to move 15 yards. But that's going to create space for the young fast guys to come through.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, skills. Otherwise, you seem to be loads of young fast guys trying to do everything and not really getting anywhere. Cavani provides that experience and balance.
Yeah.
He's a wily old fox, isn't he, basically? He's been around the block.
He's class. I mean, his experience really shows. A lot of people say that, the Prem's a hard league to come into from other countries, but he's come in, 33 years old when he came in.
And brilliant.
Yeah, he's outstanding. Then you've got Martial, who is playing up front for us today, and his movement is terrible. It's almost non-existent. It's very static. It's very wooden, and he's just not doing a lot. He's not a striker, Martial. He's better coming in off the left. But while we've got Rashford, who's also better coming in on the left, I'd gone for Greenwood up front personally instead of Martial.
How's Bruno getting on, Sonny?
Very quiet. Newcastle's done a really good job of keeping him quiet.
I need him to get some points.
He's in that
fantasy team again, isn't it?
Yeah, fantasy team.
He's my captain
team.
Yeah, he's my captain too. I think he's everyone's captain, I think, Bruno, isn't he? He takes goal kicks, penalties, throw-ins, corners.
Yeah.
Right.
That's the thing, isn't it?
Let's let Sonny get back to his match then. Sonny, last thing, what's your final prediction for that game? What's going to happen in the second half?
If we're going to win, I think we'll win 2-1.
Okay, thanks so much for joining us, buddy. I'll let you enjoy the second half. We'll just take a brief moment and we'll be back
next week.
We'll catch you next week, Sonny. Thank you so much.
There's one man with potentially a better winning record than Corona. What? He's cashing in. Corona does not look happy, does not look comfortable right now. For the first time in his title reign, I think Corona feels like he is facing a legitimate threat right now. Sammy Smooth is ready for this.
Very ready. He's encouraging him to ring the bell. And there is the bell.
Corona looks... TJ, I don't think I've ever seen Corona look this uncomfortable in a ring before. Oh! He refused to say he was ready to... Oh, yeah, now he's ready.
Ring the
now
bell.
He's ready.
Of course.
Excellent stuff there. Now, we're going to roll on with our predictions in just a moment's time, but I thought it'd be amiss if I didn't mention something to Sam. Thanks so much for coming on today, Sam, and being our guest. It's been great to speak to you. I just wanted to say as well, congratulations on becoming a father. It was last year, wasn't it? You became a father?
Yeah, it was August, yes.
August. So I just wanted to check in and see how things are going. How are you doing being a dad?
Yeah, it's an interesting experience. Obviously, it's my first, so it's all new. Lockdown babies and all that palaver. So it's a few of my mates have had the first last year too. So we're telling them when they're older how crap it was when they were born and cheer them all up. But yeah, no, obviously it's good. He's a little smiler, young Austin. So he's a smiler and he's a joy. He cries a lot. Doesn't sleep when he's supposed to. Doesn't shit when he's supposed to, all the usual things. But yeah, he's lovely. Yeah, so it's tiring, obviously. But yeah, no, it's good. It's good. We just want to get him out a bit more because so my family's back in Leicestershire, so we've been out of the limited visits. Obviously, the joys of technology, you can do video calls, blah blah blah. When I can get my video working, unlike now. But yeah, so there's ways around it, but it'll be better when we're out of lockdown. You can get him out more. We can go, walks and stuff. And my other half, Faye, my wife, Em and my dad and family are in the bubble. So, but yeah, it's hard, but it's one of those. Isn't it? You come home from work, see the face, he's a smiler. So I've said to him, that smile, work hard and keep that smile, and you'll go far in life. But I say that smile might get you in trouble as well. So you never know.
That's it, mate. Oh, great to hear. Really proud of you, mate. I'm sure you'll be a great dad there. And We should mention briefly about the wrestling. Obviously, the great Powered 4 adverts there for shows coming up on the Powered 4 network. Now, me and Sam have worked together quite a few times at Wrestle Island and Britannia Wrestling Promotions. Sam, a 15-year veteran and currently wrestling in the tag team Dogs of War with Dave Faulkner. Now, Sam, you guys have had some absolutely brutal encounters with Paradox at Wrestle Island. That's RJ Silver and Connor Klein for people who don't know. But just tell us briefly, what are you looking forward to when you get back to wrestling in the next year or so, when we're safely allowed to run shows again? What are you looking forward to? Who are you looking forward to facing?
Oh, God knows. That's the $1 million question there, right? We don't know what's going on, do we? It's one of those. I mean, we've obviously got all the... Yeah, we don't know, do we? I mean, we've got to see what the government say, what we're allowed to do. Obviously, we've had a lot going on, which got to mention in terms of the speaking out thing. That's going to have an impact as well. Speaking as someone who used to own a promotion, along with Steve Saxon, obviously we own BWP. It's going to be difficult for business. You've got to think this, because even if you're allowed to run, and this is me putting my business owner's head on, if you're running a show and there's restrictions, if you're running a show and you need to, I say, have 200 people in to break even, you're only allowed 100 in. Who in the right mind would run a show unless you can find another source of income? Even if you're allowed to have a building full of people, are people going to be on tenterhooks and worried? Are they going to be concerned? There's obviously a lot of fear. There's people have different attitudes, in terms of being worried by COVID, being very worried or not worried. Personally, I'm not worried, but I want to protect people that are under in a bracket where they're very vulnerable, like my mother, for example, my wife's grandfather. So there's so many things going on in terms of what's going to happen here. I really hope everything comes back as soon as possible, because I do miss it. And obviously, I think I'm 39. I can see myself wrestling for a considerable number of years, but I'm not like, say, 22 or whatever, and I've got like 20 years ahead of me. So I hope it's as soon as possible. But there's going to be a lot of interesting decisions made, I say, in terms of legal viability of running shows, and people are going to have to take commercial risks. And anyone that's run promotions on an independent level will know it's very easy to run an independent wrestling show and lose money. It's a lot harder to make money. People think promoters make loads of money. I'm sorry, they don't. There's some that do, don't get me wrong. Of course there is. But most promotions don't make a lot of coin at all. You've got to be very clever to make even a healthy sum of money for all your efforts is difficult. And that's why I think there's a fear factor people coming in public, which I think it might be. Unfortunately, I think it'll be longer. I don't want it to be. I'd do it next month, next week within reason, if that was allowed. But I don't think that attitude is one that most people have. I hope I'm wrong. But my attitude, Mike, I'll wrestle anyone. Me and Dave will wrestle anyone. We'll batter anyone, including you. We don't discriminate. We don't discriminate. Certainly at Wrestle Island, anywhere where we have the chains unlocked, and we have the ability and power to be as nasty as we like to who we like. When we have we're, I suppose, on the good side of the law, it's a bit different. But either way, we'll wrestle anyone. And a lot of wrestlers have gone. This is the thing. This is another factor. A lot of wrestlers have gone. Because they bloody deserve to, because of speaking out and good riddance. Some has gone, this is a good time for me to call it a day. Some of the young ones have kind of fallen out of love with the business. Some of the older ones have gone, I've had enough. And, everyone's got to make individual decisions. And you can't say everyone's got to make personal reasons. There was part of me that was tempted. I sold, me and Zach sold Britannia Wrestling Promotion because we've got things going on in our lives. New kids and professions, and it wasn't really viable. I'll continue wrestling now, obviously. So there's lots and lots of things totally up in the air. It's almost like you've got the book's been written and the book's been burnt, and we're starting again. If you understand what I'm saying.
Exactly, and that could be a good thing as well in the future, my friend. But anyway, we better crack on. We've got to make our predictions for the Premier League fixtures for next weekend. So this was match day 25 we've just had. We've got the league table up there that doesn't include Arsenal versus Man City. And at the moment, it's not looking good reading for me at all. Sonny's smashing it with 24, so that means he's got 4 correct results. And Stu, you must have picked up a correct result at some point over the weekend. What did you get?
Imagine I got a couple of correct results. I'd be right in there, wouldn't I?
I've had Everton.
I've had the results like right, but it's just getting the score nailed down in it. Fair play to Sonny. He's over double what I'm on. So yeah, you know, I tip my hat to him. He's smashing it early on.
I only called the Everton Man City match. I got that correct. That's the only one I've got right. And,
I think you've been listening to Jamie Carragher too much, Mike.
I have, right? That's what it is. Oh,
yeah, that's not a penalty. That's not a penalty.
I've never been so sure of something in my life from Fulham going down.
I'll tell you one interesting thing. I have predicted Liverpool's scores both correct for the last 2 weeks, but for the opposing team. That's quite an interesting stat, I'd say.
That's the spirit. That's the spirit. I think we're going to get beat 2-0 at home every game.
I'm just dreading to see what I've predicted for this week coming up. Right, we better crack on anyway, chaps. So what we'll do is we'll run through the score lines we predicted. I think we already did Brighton Crystal Palace last week, so we'll start with Leeds and Southampton. I'll go first. So I'm predicting that Leeds will pick up a big win against Southampton 2-1. Stu, what do you think?
I'm gonna go the opposite way. Southampton have got players back. They took that. I know they took a hammer into United, but he's playing a lot of kids. They haven't got the squad, but the players are coming back in. Danny Ings is back in, isn't he? They could do with Theo Walcott. Theo Walcott was doing all right for him. He's playing better for them than he was playing for Everton, I found.
Certainly was. He's looked very good for them.
I'm going to go with Southampton, I think, because they've got Vestergaard back at centre-back as well. They've got the players back now. So yeah, 2-1 Southampton for me, Mike.
And Sam, what do you think, my friend?
Leeds Southampton.
Yeah.
I'm going to go 2-1 Leeds. 2-1 Leeds.
Excellent. Okay, we'll move on to next Saturday's Premier League fixtures. So Man City, West Ham is the early game. Man City have just looked too solid. I think they'll turn West Ham, even though West Ham have looked a lot better. I'm going to go for a 3-1 win to City.
3-0 for me.
Go, Sam, 3-0.
I think 3-1 City. I can't see it. I think it's all hinge on Antonio or maybe Souček. Souček's been good for a goal, hasn't he, for him? And Cresswell from an assist standpoint, he's had a lot of assists and that he's a lot of goal involvement. Yeah, 3-1 City on that one.
Was it Souček who was busted wide open today?
Yeah. Him in that
crimson mask.
him in that Soufal, what a bit of business by West Ham. They haven't paid a lot for them 2 Czech lads, and they've been brilliant. They've been very good.
Yeah, I think you never know. It could be different next week. We'll have to see. West Bromwich Albion playing Brighton. I think Brighton might just nick that one 2-1. What do you think, Stu?
I'm gonna go 2-0, Mike. I'll go 2-0 Brighton.
Sam?
I'm going to go with West Brom here. 1-0, textbook Allardyce, park the bus, play with 9 defenders, header from the corner, and then that'll do. I'm going to go with West Brom 1-0.
That was always in the back of my mind as well for that one. Leeds Aston Villa is an interesting one. I think Leeds such an exciting team, but I've just got a feeling Aston Villa, if they've got Grealish back, I'm going to go for a 2-1 to Aston Villa. But I never like to bet against Leeds, though.
I'm going 2-2. I think the way they play, the way Villa like to attack as well. I'm gonna go. I think 2-2. That one. I think that's got a draw written.
I was going to say 2-2, but I'll go for 1-1 just to keep things different.
Yeah, mix it up a bit. We've got Newcastle Wolves. I'm going to say 2-0 to Wolves for that one.
I'm gonna go 3-2 Wolves. I'm gonna stick my neck out. That's a bit of a random one, but I'm gonna go 3-2 Wolves. I'm going for. We'll see.
What did you say? What did you say, Mike?
I thought Wolves had turned Newcastle 2-0, but you never know at home.
I'll go 1-1. We've got the contrasting styles between the whiskey nose Steve Bruce versus the articulate Portuguese Espirito de Santos. So the lovely clash of cultures that the Premiership brings. I'm going to go for 1-1.
That's it. Excellent. And then we've got Crystal Palace taking on Fulham on Sunday. And I've gone for a surprise result with Fulham winning 1-0 on that one. Crystal Palace, I still feel are missing their talisman of Zaha, if he's back though, could be a different story. But I think Fulham are on the ascendancy, so I'm going for 1-0. Big result for them.
I'm going to go 2-1 Fulham. I think they'll carry on the way they've been going. As you say, if Wilfred Zaha is fit, the tallies, man, they need him back. The stats don't lie. And they can't get the goals. But Benteke, Batshuayi, I know they've signed another lad in the last window, but yeah, I can't see anything but a Fulham win there, to be honest. I think they'll carry on as they have been.
I'm going to go for 2-2. I think Roy might do really well and get a draw against Fulham.
And then we've got the big one for you, Sam. It's Leicester taking on Arsenal. Arsenal, I think, have looked a little bit better recently, but I'm still going to.
That's not difficult. I'm going to go for 15-0 Leicester. No, only joking. I'm going to go for 3-1 Leicester.
Yeah,
Vardy, Madders, Barnes, and Arsenal. Probably what's his name? Pepe will probably score. He get his third goal after his big £95 million transfer. What a waste of money he's been.
Yeah, I'm going to say 2-1 for that one. What do you think, Stu?
I'm going to go 2-0 Leicester on that one, boys.
Good choice.
Next one's a big one for John Scott. Tottenham versus Burnley, and I think Tottenham will put them to the sword. To be honest, I've gone for a 3-1 Tottenham there in that one.
I'm gonna go for a 1-1. I think the way Dyche sets up, I think they'll frustrate Mourinho. Mourinho plays one way. Burnley to get a draw down there, I reckon.
I'm gonna go for a Burnley win. I think Sean Dyche will teach Mourinho that British is best in I say that clash of cultures again. I like Dyche. He makes me laugh. I just think he's a good manager. Mourinho's such a weird one as well. He seems to have these big runs and then just sometimes his players just their heads fall off and they don't want him. So I'm going to go for Burnley. Bit of an upset, but Burnley win, I think.
Yeah, and then another big game of the weekend, Chelsea, Man United. I've gone, actually, I'm not a fan of my own choice here, but I've picked up Man United. I'll pick up a 1-0 victory over Chelsea there. So that could be an interesting one to watch out for next weekend. Stu, what was your thoughts on that one?
I'm going with United, but I know obviously Tuchel, as much as I've said he's not the man, I think that'll be his first loss as Chelsea manager. 2-1 United on that one.
I'll go for a draw. I think Tuchel's doing well, but Man U, I think they're first in the league away from home, and they are very good away. They've got the pace, so I think I'm going to go for a draw, 1-1, and I think both teams will probably settle for that and go for 1-1.
Yeah. Interestingly as well, I've just noticed Man United have scored against Newcastle, so it's 2-1 there now.
Daniel James.
Bruno. Not in your watch?
No, because he doesn't get in the team, does he? But Bruno better have the assist. I bet Sam will be wanting Fernandes to get an assist on that one.
Yeah, definitely. Although I just want them to take Newcastle take some points off Man U. To be honest, that would be ideal. Not very realistic, I don't think, but. Yeah, it'd be good if Andy Carroll comes in and elbows Maguire out the way and just
Bruno assist
or something.
Bruno assist. Bruno get in.
All right, guys, and a big one for myself: Liverpool versus Sheffield United. I can only hope that we'll turn a bad bit of form. And if we're playing the Sheffield United, I've seen the rest of the season. I could see us winning 3-0, but that's. That's the
what about the Liverpool that's been playing the last month or so?
Anything could happen, mate.
Relegation form, this is, isn't it?
Mate, we'll be back next season, I'm sure. We might still get the Champions League. Yeah, I'm still pinning my hopes on that for now. But I'm going to go for 3-0 to Liverpool. What do you think, Stu?
Michael, I've written it down about 2 minutes ago. I put the same, believe it or not. I think you're going to put them to the sword. I think poor old Sheffield United are going to get a tonking because Liverpool will be chomping at the bit. I think, 3-0 as well. I went for on that one.
And Sam?
I'm going to go for 2-2 because I do think you'll score. And obviously, Sheffield United are poor. I can't see you keeping clean sheets at the minute.
Yeah, we have been struggling a bit.
You've got to either play Kabak at the back, and then is Hendo out for a period, or was that like a hamstring, or was that a knock?
It was a hamstring knock. I haven't read anything into it yet.
You've got to play Nat Phillips, I think it is, who came on yesterday. So far hasn't shown him to be Premiership level. He's obviously done well at lower league level. So I can't see you keeping a clean sheet.
Yeah, every game I've watched Nat Phillips play, he's looked solid, to be honest. I think he's looked pretty good. But
I think he'd be okay if he was
yeah.
alongside Van Dijk, who's world class, bringing him through. It's like you spoke, the old adage, isn't it? You bring young players through into a winning team, and that's how they bring up to the level. If you throw young players in a team that's losing, or a defensive structure that's basically failing, then they go down to that level. So I think Nat Phillips would be better alongside Dijk or even Matip. But if he's playing alongside Kabak or basically a central midfielder, I think that's why it's not really done him any favours. So it's
tough time to come into the team. The last match as well next week, Monday night's match is Everton versus Southampton. Stu's Everton taking on Southampton at home. That's going to be an interesting match.
Yeah.
I've gone for a 2-1 Everton win against Southampton. I think I think you'll have to beat the beating of them, Stu. But what do you think, my friend?
I'm gonna go for another 2-0. I think, but it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough. But these are the games now. We cannot slip up, and we've got West Brom after that away. We're better away. We're a bit like Leicester. We're in like the top 3 or 4 for away form. But they've got to win that game. They've got to show now. They've got to get these results and have a bit of consistency off the back of that win last night. But we shall see. We shall see.
Excellent. And Sam?
I'm going to go with a home win, Everton, I think. Again, a very interesting one. 2 teams that are looking to improve and I think are moving forward as teams. 2 good managers. So it'll be an interesting tactical clash, but I think you'll probably do enough to beat them at home.
Excellent, guys. I'd like to say a big thank you to you both for joining us this evening. Sam, have you got any social media plugs that you'd like to put out there, or let us know about anything you've got coming up in the next few weeks that you want to tell me?
In terms of stuff going on in the next few weeks, absolutely nothing. I'll be sat in front of my telly like everyone, not being allowed to even speak to anyone or see anyone any closer than 2 meters. So my life is like most people's, absolutely nothing going on. But by all means, go onto YouTube and bang in the babyface Pitbull on Facebook and Twitter. I'm quite boring on Twitter because I think Twitter's an absolutely despicable, horrible social media platform. But go and have a look. But no, absolutely nothing interesting other than sat watching football and doing nappies. So there we go. And if anyone says they've got anything interesting they're doing in the next few weeks, they're a liar. You haven't. Because we're fucking locked down.
Right, thanks so much for joining us, Sam. And also, I'm sure you can check out some of Sam's matches on Powered 4 TV. Stu, what have you got coming up this week, my friend? Anything exciting you want to tell us about?
I'm waiting, as I always have to wait every bloody week, for Apple to clear with the episode. It's 24 hours it's been live on everything else. But yeah, interview with former MLW middleweight world champion Myron Reed. He beat Teddy Hart for the belt in 2019. Obviously, they had the off period. Then MLW came back. Leo Rush won the belt. Myron, great talent, getting booked across America, all the big promotions. Looking to get into the UK when can. He's very much, he wants to get into the UK scene once we're up and running. So yeah, interesting interview with him. That's my latest one. And that will hopefully be up tonight for everyone to listen to.
Fair enough, Stu. You have actually got something interesting you're doing, but you podcast, so I'll let you off.
I'll take
it back.
Oh, brilliant. Hey, well, I'd just like to say thank you, everybody, for joining and listening in today, and all the people who've commented in the comments section. This has been Added Time, episode 3, and we'll be back next Sunday at 7 o'clock for when Liverpool are going to be playing Sheffield United. So I'll be doing a bit of a watch along with you next week. So thanks for joining us, everybody. Any comments you want to add about the episode, let us know. We always love a bit of feedback. And you can join us here on Facebook and on Powered 4 next week. Thanks, everybody.